Welcome to Toffee TV. We are back to discuss the goalkeeper situation. Andy and Baz have been going through the team position by position, and we thought we'd have a little look at the goalkeeping position because, let's be honest, it hasn't been great, has it, Andy?
Bit rough this season, and maybe the season before that. He was alright when he first came, but yeah, it's an important position. We've seen the two top clubs in the league have bought goalkeepers over the last couple of years, and they came in and transformed things for them. So yeah, it's a very important position. And Jordan Pickford's been below par, really, as we'll see when we look at some of his data and we discuss them. You know, I don't think we'll change the goalie this summer. Spoiler alert, but it is somewhere we do need to start thinking about. And then, here's Jordan Pickford. So, I think people I put clean sheets in there because I think people tend to focus on clean sheets, but clean sheets are representative of a team performance rather than individual performance.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong, goalkeeper's a very integral part of a clean sheet, but it's also how you defenders blocking shots, heading balls out, keeping the ball out the box, essentially. So 9, which is, below, he had, I think, 13 or 14 a year ago, so again, lower. Okay, goals conceded 56, which is quite a lot. Yeah. And then, okay, so here's the one that people are going to ask questions about. So post-shot XG. So when you've got goals conceded and post-shot XG, you'd always want your post-shot XG to be more than your goals conceded. What that means generally as a shot stopper is you've kept out more than you're expected to concede.
Yeah.
Now, post-shot XG is the shot as you're about to take it. So there's defenders in front of you, the position. You could hit it over the bar, you could get it blocked. Post-shot is when the shot's been hit and it's on target, so it individually measures goalkeeper performance. And as you can see, Jordan Pickford is basically, because you take out own goals, is 5 over what he should be. So essentially he's conceded 5 more goals than he was expected an average goalkeeper to concede this season.
Is that high?
That is the second worst in the league of any goalkeeper who's played over 1,000 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So Kepa's worse.
Yeah.
Angus Gumm's slightly worse, but that's based on the one game where he played against Southampton. He got drubbed 9. Leicester. They got drubbed 9-0. So yeah, Pickford's not had a good season in terms of shot stopping. 63% again, second worst in the league behind, in front of that man Kepa again. So him and Kepa have been the worst two goalkeepers consistently in the league this season. Passing accuracy, that was mid-table, 10th. Which is, people would say, some surprise because he does. It's been uneven, but generally his long kicking isn't too bad. He tries to do the spectacular too much, and then his short kicking, you're going to get 90%. Let's be honest, short kicking, it's not that hard. Past 3 yards.
It's about 100% though to the family enclosure and the lower Bullens.
Well, so. There you go. No, the problem with Pickford is, I think, is, as me and Baz have discussed many times, I'm sure you've got your own opinions on him. It's all reactionary. And I think a lot of these problems are that he doesn't set himself early enough. He doesn't give him a chance, and he's reacting all the time. Which, don't be wrong, you could be the cat, Levi Ashlingham, the original cat, and you're not going to save everything. You're just not, unless you position yourself. You watch the goalkeeper across the park, Ederson. They make saves look easier because they're always in the right position to save them. And I don't think he is often. I also think his concentration's not the best either.
He thinks he's better than what he is, and I only judge. I solely judge that by what I see when I watch him play football. I'm not, this isn't a breakdown of his psychological, or anything like that. This is, for me, I watch him play football week in and week out, and I watch the things he does, and I think he's a goalkeeper who's at some point stopped worrying about the fundamentals of being a goalkeeper. And you're right, the things that you just spoke about they're the things that players at the top of the game keep on top of. And I think that he has just lost his way somewhere. And can he get it back? I don't know. But the problem is for Everton is, have Everton got the time for him to get it back? And this is where big clubs, or clubs who saying want to win things, that's when, for me, they change what they're all about. Yeah, you look at Chelsea with Kepa, they've already made the decision. He is not good enough for them. So they are going to go out now. Now that's a slightly different circumstance because they're at the top. They're trying to win the trophies. They're trying to stay in the Champions League, trying to progress in the Champions League. The worry for us is you do become flippant about the whole situation. You start looking at every other position and going, well, we're all right in that position. And I understand that. Listen, money's tight the way it is at the moment, and goalkeeper for some is the last place we should be worrying about. I don't have that mentality because I think a good goalkeeper behind a bad team will win you more points than a bad goalkeeper behind a good team.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you've just said, Manchester City and Liverpool proved that. They replaced their goalkeepers and both went on and won league titles because that's what they needed to do. And that's what Chelsea be aiming to do. Now for us, I think personally it's a case of we need to start being aware of what comes next.
Yeah, you look at, I talk about post-shot XG and stuff, and you can see them more than you should. You look at points difference it could make. Now, obviously 5 goals. I'm not saying every one of them, we lost every game 2-1. There's much difference. But say goalkeepers were to, say, 9 points a season. That's a lot. Everyone would have nearly made Europe this season if Jordan Pickford had been better. So and you see that Liverpool and Man City, they've gone up levels because they've changed the goalkeeper. So maybe, changing the goalkeeper now, next year is really needed probably.
Well, we are looking at the alternatives, of course. That's what we've been doing on the shows.
Yeah.
Nick Pope, goalkeeper, will be vying for that England spot to take it away from him. He had a very good season. He's someone I've really liked in the last couple of seasons, and has seen off the likes of Joe Hart at Burnley.
And Tom Eaton, yeah.
Tom Eaton, who's obviously went to Villa. He was a very, very good goalkeeper. Well, you're looking at you've seen off 2 England rivals in a way there. Obviously, Burnley, a unfashionable side, but he's done very, very well, hasn't he?
Yeah, you think about Nick Pope, he came from Charlton. I think Burnley do this quite well. He seemed to bring goalkeepers up and develop them over a couple of years. They've just signed Will Norris from Wolves, and they've also got Bailey Peacock Farrell from Leeds. They're behind Pope now, and I think what they do is they sort of get them, because I think Burnley, the easiest positions to sort of sell or make look good is because of the defensive system they play. Your centre-backs, we've seen that with Michael Keane, of course, Ben Mee, James Tarkowski, and now, of course, the goalkeeper, Tom Eaton, obviously did well, got his England place, and now Nick Pope, and I think Nick Pope is a good goalkeeper. My worry with Nick Pope, you'll see here, so the clean sheet's 15, I think that was joint top in the league. Goals conceded 50, and there we go. Post shot XG lower, so he's basically 1.3, 2.3 goals lower than he should have conceded. The reason there's a 0.3 is because XG is measured between 0 and 1, and 0.5 is like a 50% chance. Essentially, that's how it works. I know it's not for everyone; it's just the way it works. But it's a good indicator for individual goalkeeper performance. Save percentage. Look, if you look at 71%, that's where you want it. Over 70%. Pickford 63. So there's quite a difference there.
Big difference.
This is the thing I think that lets Pope down. Now we haven't seen it because he hasn't played for a team where he's required to pass out from the back, but teams want a goalkeeper. People to Andre Onana from Ajax, for example, for Chelsea. They want a keeper who can pass out from the back, and Pope tends to kick it long, which is why his percentage is lower than Pickford's.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is, just starting with the passing accuracy, is that what we did see at the end of the season is Everton do want to play it out from the back. And I would say that in short possession at the back, Jordan Pickford's actually quite good. Because we've seen a few teams recently in the Champions League come unstuck by poor passing out from the back, not being sharp enough. And that starts with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper gives you a bad pass. Within a couple of passes, you can be a goal down essentially. Yeah. So that would go against them in terms of what we want to play, because we are trying to play it out from the back. We are trying to draw the opposition in and then play out. So that would, but there'll be a lot of people saying, yeah, but that doesn't matter, because ultimately what matters is
keeping goal,
stopping the goals from going in. The passing side of it, that's something you can work on. That's something you can get better at.
I think he probably does. I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure Pope's probably capable of playing out from the back. Most modern goalkeepers are. It's just that he's not required to do so at Burnley. Now, what level is, because you get pressed as a goalkeeper now, and it's under pressure. Can you make those short and intermediate passes under pressure? Some keepers can't. Some keepers tend to lose the ball, kick it out of play, and that's key. I think it wouldn't matter if it was maybe a different system that we play at Everton, as you say, we're trying to draw the position. Our best chance of scoring goals at times is getting our 2 quick forward players in one-on-one situations, counter-attack, and I think drawing the teams onto us is an easy way of doing that in a sense. But that's why we're probably looking for a centre-half who can play off from the back as well.
I think he looks, for me as well, like a very dominating goalkeeper.
Bigger than
and I think
Pickford,
that's what makes a big difference. I don't think it was such an issue when Jordan Pickford first came into Everton, but I think after a while people have started looking at the situation and looking to put the ball in certain areas, tempt them out at times.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that with him. Listen, I've been very critical of Jordan Pickford and I think deservedly so. But I think games like Newcastle at home, where we ended up drawing 2-2, I look at that game at 2-0 and I look at the amount of times they put the ball into the box late on. And I think with a goalkeeper like that, he comes and takes most of those or deals with most of those.
Well, it gives the defence confidence to deal with it as well.
Both of the goals that Newcastle scored that night, I think a goalkeeper like that would deal with a lot easier. Don't get me wrong, there'll be times when Jordan Pickford will do things a lot better than...
But he can't do probably, yeah.
And that's what makes it a difficult balancing act, isn't it, really? But for me, I do think that teams will play on that.
Well, yeah, I said this the other week. If you look at Chelsea Kepa, and he still finished third, the worst performing goalkeeper in the league. Imagine they had someone like Nick Pope, and who's mid-table, even just mid-table goalkeeper. How close would they have been to Liverpool, Manchester City? You know what I mean? That's the type of difference. Everton currently have, I suppose people wouldn't say he's the second worst goalkeeper in the league, but performance-wise, individual-wise, he has been. If we had a top 10 goalkeeper, would Everton not be in a much better situation? Would the defence not be more confident? I think crosses is a great point really, because command of your area is something so key in English, the EFL, in Premier League, because we're quite English football is mostly based on crossing. Obviously Manchester City, much different team, but you look at Liverpool, a lot of crosses into the box. You look at other sides, a lot of crosses into the box.
The thing about it is, right, the way I'd say it, just from without going into the details that you go into, obviously, is if you defend well in a game and you start restricting the opposition to long shots and crosses into the box, then the defence has done the job.
Correct,
Don't get me wrong, the defence should be stopping crosses from coming in as well, but that's not always.
People cross from near the halfway line.
You can get diagonals in, from full back or from centre back.
Yeah.
And then try and get a knock on, even whether that's a defender or an attacking player. If you've got a goalkeeper who can come out and meet that, then you've got your defence and your goalkeeper working in unison. The problem is, if we are working hard to stop the opposition and the ball's going out for throws or corners, and then your goalkeeper's coming out and he's starting to flap at things or not get good contact or won't come out, and then that allows the opposition to, we see Burnley do it. Burnley, funny enough, do it really well the other way. They go on goalkeepers, they stand on goalkeepers, they put pressure on goalkeepers. And I think that's the difference in having a goalkeeper like that than having a goalkeeper like Jordan Pickford. Your defence can work all day on stopping the opposition, being clever. But if a deep ball comes in and your goalkeeper doesn't deal with it, you're in trouble.
Well, this is why we've always had trouble with teams like, I know we beat Burnley 5-1 last year, but we've had trouble with teams like Burnley, Sheffield United, Aston Villa at the start of the season, soft goals, and of course we always had those issues under Marcus Silva with the set pieces, and the goalkeeper's part of that, because having a goalkeeper who can come and deal with that. Now, people go because he's got short arms or he's too small. You've got goalkeepers who are small anyway who do really well. That's not always an issue. Obviously, Pope's 6'3" is bigger, much bigger physically as well. I think that's a bit of a key thing, and I think that confidence it gives the defence, you're right, is very important.
Well, you grow, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you should. Some Pickford hasn't grown, but I think you grow as a team, and it sets it out straight away. You look at an Edison, you look at an Alisson. They're intimidating.
Yeah.
They're intimidating goalkeepers. They have something straight away. They have a presence. It's actually it doesn't really matter what size you are when you have a presence. But unfortunately, the problem with Pickford now is it's that illusion is gone. That illusion that you create is gone.
Yeah.
You know, I always think that a centre forward, if he's Schmeichel was the best at it.
Yeah.
Might mean he was a great goalkeeper. I don't know if he was ever the best in the world. Maybe he was for a short time.
99, yeah.
But I think what good goalkeepers do, they create a presence so that the centre forward doesn't do what he naturally does. And whatever way they do it, And I think that's the illusion that's rubbed off on Pickford. And you've got to be able to try and get that back somehow. And being physically big.
Well, Schmeichel was huge, wasn't he? Yeah, Schmeichel was huge, wasn't he? And, you know, there's a lot. I think John Pickford's 26 now, as I've said before. That's an age where you're at your best, basically. If you look back at the last 10 years, the goalkeepers who were world class were all world class by 26. It's young for a goalkeeper. I think doesn't really match. And you know, we'll look at someone a bit different here. This is Stade Reims goalkeeper Pedrag. Okay. They signed him for. Just hold on.
No.
They signed him from Maccabi Tel Aviv. He came from really not nowhere because I knew he was, but he came from there and he's gone straight into the League One. You know, in France. And if you look, the difference here, clean sheets 12, but then you look, you only conceded 18 goals all season. His post-shot XG is so much higher because
this is a full season.
This is a full season.
Jesus.
He's a really good goalkeeper. This is a really highly highly sought after goalkeeper.
Why does he not play for Everton yet?
Well, that's because this is the thing about Everton. And
me and Baz going to have to make a trip to France to get our preferred targets.
Yeah, I have to, yeah. Baz is already in.
And a load of shorts.
Isn't Baz already in Toulouse?
Loads of shorts, dumpy bottles of beer.
All right, can't go out, beat
and
France.
Lay's Cadbury fingers.
There you go. But yeah, so this again, look at the difference there. So that's what, 8.9 goals difference. He's made the difference this season, stopped 8, and that's how good of a shot stopper he is. 81%, so that's what, 18% more than Pickford in terms of save percentage. Passing accuracy, again, more than Pickford. So, you know, Stade Reims, don't be wrong, play a bit more of a defensive style, so it does benefit him. However, he's been fantastic this season.
And I can't see from that pitch. How big is this?
6'3".
Right. So, question for you.
Yeah.
Right. Why has nobody bought this fella? Like, why do I watch these videos and see these targets and look at these numbers and wonder why clubs like Everton are still trying to go after targets? You know, why are we not using this Moneyball system to go and buy players?
Right, that's a good question. So the problem with the Premier League is, and this is a mostly Premier League problem, is that everything is risk averse. And the reason it's risk averse is because of the money. People won't take chances because one, you can go out your job quite quick if you start tumbling down the league, and two, clubs don't want to get relegated because of the financial cost to them as a club. So this is why they're risk averse. So this is what happens. You get people like Pedrag, who was always good for Maccabi Tel Aviv. But what they do is, like with other players you've seen, you know, they wait till they go to Germany, they wait till they go to France in his case, and then once they get good, they're then worth 20, 30 million.
So what did he buy him for?
I think it was 4.5 million.
And what's he worth now?
Probably about 20, 25.
I'm honestly...
Dortmund do these type of deals, and Leipzig and things like that.
I am dumbfounded when I see stuff like this. I really am, because I don't clearly keep my eye on these teams, and I don't play Football Manager.
He is actually a Football Manager legend.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. So when I see these players and I see these kind of numbers, and I know people will say farmers leagues and all that, and 2 semi-finalists in the Champions League. I am absolutely dumbfounded that we as a club aren't looking in these directions. This is what burns my head out. And I know this is my first chance to vent because I haven't done any of these videos, but I've been sitting over there editing them and producing them. But it absolutely dumbfounds me where you look at other teams. You just mentioned Dortmund, but we've seen Lille.
Yeah, Lille, great.
Lille going in to buy them. And you're like, why is there not one team in the Premier League? And I know you've just given a really good...
We'll do a video. I said we'll do a video on it later this week about why we can't do certain models in the Premier League. But you know, the issue is part risk of it. Also managers, because there's such short manager turnarounds in the Premier League. I know in Italy's worse, but they won't buy players that are risks for them. They go for safer options. Look at Ronald Koeman in 2017-18. He just went for mostly Premier League players. Seeing some Pickford, Keane. Because it's safer for your job. Don't get me wrong, and this is only my opinion. I love Pedrag. Some would go, "Oh, he's not right for this." And football is a game of opinions, but there's clear evidence that this lad has gone from one step to another seamlessly, and he was probably the best performing goalkeeper last year in France. So there's obviously talent there, you know.
See, I look at this situation, certainly with someone like that, and I think we finished 12th.
Sign him as a sub-goalie before he goes anywhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we finished 12th. He's not a name. Yeah. Go and buy him for like 15, 20 million. You'd probably, I mean, in the way it is at the moment, you'd probably have to shift Jordan Pickford for
which is
that.
the problem, yeah.
But, like, I look at that and just think, these are the players that we're missing out on. Then we're looking for these players in 2 years' time and going, oh, they're 40 million now. Because they've gone, because someone else has took them.
Yeah, it happens all the time, especially for German clubs and French clubs always buy players from, say, Austria, Switzerland, Denmark, wherever. They always go there, play really well. And then Premier League clubs have to pay 29, 30 million. That's just always the way it's been. We'll go to our last one, the Golden Glove winner in Serie A this season, Jan Musso, from Udinese, again, Pozzo, the Watford's owners, scouting network comes with trumps again. He was the Racing Club goalkeeper when they won the title 3 years ago, so he's a winner. He's won. So when I looked at it, I thought, why did Udinese sign Jan Musso? Because back then he didn't have anything that would be like standout data-wise. He was a very good goalkeeper, he won the title. But then you look at him, how good of a goalkeeper. He's 6'4", great shot stopper. Yeah, we'll look at his 14 clean sheets, most in Serie A. Goals conceded 51, post shots XG again higher. Conceded. On not a very good team in Serie A as well. Udinese felt they're not the same team that was in the Champions League all those years ago. Save percentage 75% again, 12% higher than Pickford's, and 87% pass accuracy again. So all these numbers continue to add up that these are good goalkeepers. I say this fella is won a title in Argentina. People go, well, that's not a big great cheats, but still, it's a winning mentality. You have to be big saves in big games. Another great goalkeeper, and there's other goalkeepers out there that people watch all the time. There's goalkeepers in Europe that we should be looking at, whether we will or we will not. Look, Liverpool's ex-goalkeeper is now in the semi-final of the Champions League. Peter Kolaski for Leipzig. Liverpool just got rid of him. He's now in Leipzig's goalie. So there's talented goalkeeper. People give up too soon sometimes. But I think there's other options than these, of course, but I think we do need to look at the goalkeeper position in the next 12 months as a serious thing. We'd have to sell Pickford, of course, because you can't keep someone like him on the bench because it'll devalue him too much to the point where, the problem is, how do you sell him at this point?
What I find very interesting there is there's clearly talent out there. There's clearly good goalkeepers out there. There's goalkeepers out there that we could bring in cheaper than we sell Jordan Pickford for. And it's us falling into that trap again, or seemingly falling that trap of not recognising the talent. And that is the reason Marcel Brands is supposed to be at Everton Football Club. And yet, I
will slightly defend Brands on this point, though, is that if Brands wanted, for example, Pedrag when he's at Tel Aviv, if Marcus Silva doesn't want him, he can't sign him. That's the problem. A perfect director of football and manager relationship is obviously there's got to be some quarter given by each, but still, if a good manager's like, no, I don't want him, I want Joe Hart, then what can you do? Because you can't spend 10 million on a goalkeeper and have him sit on the bench and rot and never play because you're devaluing the assets. These are it's politics, isn't it, really? You have to weigh these things up. Don't be wrong, I think Brands should, we've only signed, I think, one player outside of the top 5 leagues since Brands came in, Bernard. I think that's something we need to look at. I think, well, obviously Jared Brandway, that was one of the youth signing, but I think that's something we need to look at because it's not always, you don't always need to sign players. I know Villa signed 3 players from Belgium and they haven't been, hit the ground running, but still, there's quality out there in these leagues. Get them before they go elsewhere and cost us £50 million. Bailey, who we've been linked with, he was in Belgium before he went to Germany. Look at the price difference now. These are the things you've got to consider.
Yeah, I do. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting Everton to go out and have a team full of
kids,
players that we've uncovered. That's not necessarily how the Premier League works. It's more, 2 or 3 or squad players and bring them through if there is a way of getting them through. But I do feel like the goalkeeping situation is a very much different from anywhere else because I personally don't always feel like you need a level of experience. I look at goalkeepers in every league and think you're saving shots from
class players,
from class players. Okay, they're not always better than Premier League players. Premier League players have got more talent and various ways of putting the ball in the back of the net. But if you get one in and he can do the job, and he's doing the job at a decent level every single week, and it's got, like you said before, we've got a goalkeeper who's the second worst in the Premier League in stats. If you bump that up, like you've said, and get to somewhere near the top 10 level, that jumps straight away. And
makes a difference in the points at the end of the season, yeah.
These, to me, look like goalkeepers that have got all the basics. Have got more than the basics, of course. They are the top goalkeepers.
Yeah, they are, and it should, obviously it's up to Everton. I think the Everton are going to sign it, they're going to sign, but I think there's got to be forward thinking in the sense that, yeah, Pickford is of a level. Is he right for where we want to go? I would say no. I think if you look at the best goalkeepers, like Jan Oblak, don't be wrong, they play defensive systems, so that probably behooves him in some way. But the best goalkeepers, Alisson's at the other end for them, twiddling his thumbs after the game, and he has to make that one world-class save to win the points. His concentration isn't good enough to do that for me. You have to have really top-level concentration because the level of chances that other teams get against the best teams are lower, so you have to make that 1-2 saves a game. I just don't think Pickford's got that. I think he was good at Sunderland, similar to Simon Mignolet. I call it Mignolet syndrome, where you look great saving 30 shots a game, conceding 4 goals, because it's not your fault the defence is bad. When you come to a better club and the expectations on, you're not to the level.
There you go. Let us know your thoughts. Do you agree with not having Jordan Pickford as the number 1 in the first place? That's the first thing. And let us know your thoughts on any of the goalkeepers Andy has suggested today.
There's other goalkeepers near you.
So, yeah,
in stores near you.
Yeah, the goalkeepers available in all good football clubs. If you've got any that you want to let us know, then we can pass them on. Do so. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a like. Make sure you watch all the other videos in this series as well. Subscribe, and if you want more great videos, we want these videos like well earlier, like a week earlier, over on Patreon. The link is in the description for that as well.
Well worth the money.
It is.
See more of me.
There's the advert. Well worth the money.
It is.
See you later.